Welcome back to Metropole Business Center, and just like I promised before I took the break, with me in studio I have an Artcoholic. Yes, Artcoholic, guys, not alcoholic. Welcome to the show, Mr. Artcoholic, or like you like to be called, Pencilart Sam.
Thank you.
So when I took a break, when I was introducing you that I'll be bringing an Artcoholic, I literally have to emphasize it twice, lest our audience thinks I have someone in studio with a dependency problem.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're to help us understand this concept of an Artcoholic and what exactly that you do, what would you tell us?
Artcoholic is basically an artist who is addicted to art. I draw, I paint, I design. My whole life is all about art, so hence Artcoholic. Yeah.
So Mr. Artcoholic,
Yeah.
how long have you had this problem of this addiction to art? When did you start out, and how has the journey been like so far?
Technically, my whole life. I've been an artist my whole life. Professionally, let's say 2017. That's when I started doing it seriously and making money of it. Yeah.
So now I'd like us to focus on the professional bit. Considering, like you've mentioned, this is something that you've literally done your entire life. At what point did it click? When did the light bulb finally come on for you to realize, wait, I can actually make money out of this? How did you get into this and realize this is something I can actually monetize?
Well, since I was young, people would offer to pay me just to do even a chat for the teacher, like in class and stuff. So I've always known it's something I can make money out of it. But I never thought it could be like a full-time career until I got this this idea that you can actually, people want to give out presents, people want to hang beautiful paintings in their houses. Yeah, that was like, it came to my mind, and it's been good since then.
Brilliant. And now that you've even talked about being able to monetize it, there's actually a market for it. Generally speaking, what would you say of the pencil art industry in this country? Would you say it's a booming business? Would you say it's a business that needs work? What would you give us as a general picture on the kind of space that you're in?
It's a growing industry. There's a lot of upcoming artists. At the same time, if you market yourself well, you will get a lot of, client base. So it's growing. It's been like a long journey. When I was starting, it was so hard to get people and stuff. Yeah.
And now that you've mentioned, there are actually a lot of people now that are entering this space. It's showing signs of booming. My question then is, there has to be competition that's rising in this space. So you as Pencilart Sam, who's done this since 2017, or I would say since you are even a child, you've literally been in this space. How are you dealing with competition? How do you ensure that even with all these other upcoming artists, you still manage to stay on top and your work stands out?
I think it's daily practice. A lot of people, when they start making money out of it, or they become good at it, they somehow become, for lack of a better word, lazy. So for me, I draw every day. Like even before I came here, I was just drawing and sketching. So I do a lot of practice and also discipline in the industry. Like, yeah. And
I love that you're literally talking about it like it's an actual trade, because a lot of people who do this usually will do it as a hobby, right? So the question then is, how do you move from that point of getting it from being a hobby to actually monetizing it? Because people do struggle, and you get stuck at that point where you're drawing such amazing pictures, but you're failing to connect with the customer and in the end make money out of it. So if you are to give advice to someone who maybe could have a talent similar to yours but does not really know how to enter the industry like you have, how do you turn that hobby into something that's going to make you money?
I've always told people to imagine doing what you love and then getting paid for it. People will say, I love sleeping, so imagine sleeping and get paid for it.
Right.
So there's, if you are an upcoming artist and you're doing, they're the most hardworking actually, the upcoming. They will do 3 pieces a day. So all you have to do is get yourself an audience, especially on social media. I don't have a physical shop. I only sell on social media, and it's currently taking care of my bills. So anyone can just do it as long as you stay focused and like practice a lot. Yeah.
And you've actually brought in the aspect of social media, because I visited your page, and you have close to 10K followers. That's no mean feat, particularly on Twitter. So in terms of using social media as a marketing tool, right? Some people get it right, some people don't get it right. What would you say are some of your tricks and tips in order to fully leverage on social media, even if it means to alleviate or eliminate all the other extra costs? What advice would you give? Because we're seeing a lot of business take that route.
I'm very active, especially on Twitter. Like recently, I think this is the drawing that most of you saw.
Yes, I saw that. Brilliant, beautiful.
Recently, like I post every day, but it takes months for it to get like one post go viral like that, you know. So whenever I do it, it's like like I told you earlier, it's all about being consistent. Yeah, and don't like, people want to see art, so it doesn't matter how many times you repost, they'll still want to see it. Yeah.
Now, Pencilart Sam, since we're talking about your craft in line with business and making money, a lot of times when you see someone going into business, they'll have had like a prior education or maybe a certain level of training to get into, just to get a full grasp and understanding. Yet here you are, you've had a talent from when you were a young child. So my question then is, was it beefed up by education? Is this, when you're entering this space of doing art, or even I would call it pencil art, what's the role of education, or should you just tap into your passion and talent? What would be your take on that?
I was a bright kid, especially in primary school and stuff.
Right.
Education, although the Kenyan education system don't really care about talents, if you're being honest. So in high school, I had to like sacrifice one, and I kind of sacrificed education. I finished, but I had to like focus more on my craft. I used to sketch a lot, like, although this CBC, I hear they are focusing on talents and stuff, I think.
Right, you hear?
Yeah, so probably it has a future in the Kenyan.
Yeah, we'll probably see
system.
a lot more people taking advantage of their talents.
Yeah.
Now, Pencilart Sam, even as we get to the end of this interview, I would like to know, because you said it's something that you're doing as a business, you're using Twitter to push you, but if I'm to ask, would you advise someone to fully dive into being an artist, doing pencil art? Is it something that you can fully survive on, if you know what I mean? Because I looked at your price list on Twitter, and depending on, in my opinion, depending on, how you market yourself, I feel like it's something that can be a full-fledged business. Because I saw you have like a price point of like 4,500 all the way into the 100,000 mark. So what would you say about fully making this a source of income? Is this something that's possible?
Yeah, it is very possible if you have enough clients, and by enough clients I mean as much as you can draw. It's something you can make a life out of it. This is what I'm doing full time currently,
right? And
it's growing. So it means in the future maybe it will be the only thing. Like, I don't even plan to have like another white collar job. Yeah.
Now, before I let you go, even as we wind up, I'd like you to maybe hold up both your pieces for our audience back home to see, but you could also let us go by telling us maybe how people can reach you, you know, how someone can place an order, because you're a brilliant artist. Even myself, I'm personally interested in making, you know, one for myself and maybe gifting someone. So someone who's trying to reach you, how can they do that?
I am Pencilart Sam on all social media platforms, or my username is Artcoholic. Yeah, that's the easiest way to get to me. Yeah.
DM?
Yeah, DM.
Right.
I answer all the DMs.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for making the time to come to talk to us about your craft here on the show. I wish you all the best and hope we'll be talking very, very soon.
Thank you.
At this point, I'm going to take a very short break. Don't go anywhere. Stephanie Waswa will be back in studio to take us through the topics that have been trending throughout the week. Don't go anywhere.